All right, so before I start, can I just quickly check how many of us are using AI in your day-to-day work right now? Everyone. Yeah, that's good. No, not everyone. Okay, most of the people here are using AI, which is good. We do see trends that people are embracing AI to enable their software development capabilities, which is very good. But today, what I'm going to do is to slow you down a little bit, because if we don't have a right way to use AI, or if we don't have a right attitude, then we will easily fall into several common pitfalls. All right, so I think most of you, when you start to use AI, possibly you will have same question to me, which is why my velocity is not promising, it's not fast enough, why the overall productivity is not stable, sometimes high, sometimes low, which is not the expectation. And also the code quality may drop down quite a bit. So why would that? So to answer that, let's go to look this research from Stanford. And this research is to quantify the AI outcomes in software delivery. So as we can see that the red part is the outcome of the AI-generated new code. We do see a lot of increase in this part, but at the same time, the blue one, the refactoring, and the black one, the rework, are also increased. The code, the color seems strange. Yeah, but the new code, you can see generative AI increased about 30 to 40%. But the effort people spend on rework and refactoring was also increased from less than 5% to about 20 to 30%. So in this case, the net productivity gain is very limited, so it's less than 10. And this is another case. So if you are working with AI, generating your code, you probably will say similar things. I want AI to generate or implement a feature to me. Before that, I prepared some test cases, unit test cases, to verify the code. And AI tried multiple rounds, and none of them successfully matches the unit test. So what AI did at last, so it's like I have a smarter way, let's try this again, let's do it from scratch. I'll leave a lot of console logs or debugging information and create a lot of markdown files to describe what he have done. But with all of this, the AI thinks, okay, I'm doing so hard. Yeah, my implementation must be correct. So the only thing could be wrong is the unit test, let me delete it. And the AI just delayed my unit test and run the test again. Everything works? Good. Let me do a quick summary about this implementation. Now, have you seen similar things before?
Yes.
Yeah. So is that because AI is not good enough? I don't think so, because most of the time when we ask AI to generate code for us, they can do quite well, and most of the time. And their patterns, they use different patterns, or they somehow use best practices. So I don't think it's AI's fault, but it's more about how we use it. And I have interviewed a lot of teams within and inside or outside of Thoughtworks. A lot of teams, they are using AI day to day, but they're still following the old software delivery mindset. For example, people believe that, okay, code is still the bottleneck. The code takes more times in the whole life cycle. Coding faster means delivery faster. So that's how people think. And also people may think, okay, the output equals effort, which means every deliverable or every asset in the software delivery would go through multiple rounds of human things and human validations. Human put effort into these outcomes. Some people may think, okay, if I'm doing code review, I only need to validate the code logic. They're using same naming conventions, or if there is any bugs in the code, and none of the the code reviewer would check, okay, if this implementation, the business value in the implementation is still aligned with what we want, right? But are those mindsets still valid in the current days? If teams are using heavily, definitely I think something is changed already. All right, so if we are still following the old mindset while we are using AI more and more, these are the four common pitfalls we have observed. The first one, the overtrust. People overtrust to AI. The second one, the unexpected velocity promising. And the third one, the wrong path of personal growth. And the last one, the engineering collapse. All right. So AI doesn't replace thinking. It just accelerates what we are doing. If you are doing it on the wrong path, then it will also accelerate the wrong thing. All right. So the first one is the overtrust to AI. Yeah, a lot of people believe that, okay, AI understands everything. Because the model behind the AI have so much knowledge. The code it generated has patterns, if you ask for solutions, it give you a lot of so-called best practices. People think, AI knows so much knowledge, then they would assume that the AI also understand how to do things. So a lot of people just start with very simple or minimum prompts when they talk with AI. And so at very first, they just use a few lines to ask AI, like generate a leave request API to submit leave. This is very minimum prompts, but doing this kind of simple prompts will just like making wish. Sometimes it could become true, but if you are not define your wish correctly, your wish may come true from a different way. Like making a wish to like a fairy or something, right? So if we do things or collaborate with AI like this, we usually will see like multiple rounds of prompting. We need to prompt again, ask AI, no, this is what I want, right? So when we building things, always our boss will say, nah, this is not what I want, but this is your turn to say the similar thing. AI won't complain, but as a boss, you won't get what you want. And sometimes even after you try multiple times to ask AI to update, you will still never get what you want. You have to drop everything and start again. In the next time, you may choose a different approach, but it's still, you waste a lot of time. Some other people will think AI writes better code because they see patterns and best practices in the code AI generated, and also they see AI can generate code so fast. AI only use 10 minutes to give me a lot of code, and which a human needs a day or even more time for the same amount of code. But the problem is AI just give you the industry average code, right? So it doesn't match your pattern sometimes. For example, AI generates code usually it generates code before it generates test, right? So in this case, like what we see from the previous example, so AI may do something strange. It could, what we have seen here is AI sometimes writes unit tests to only confirm the code logic it generates. It doesn't match the business requirement, but the test is still passed, right? So also the AI sometimes will give you a lot of duplication, right? Doesn't understand your utility functions and will create a format state everywhere 10 times in different places in the code base. And also AI doesn't understand or it doesn't follow your layer conventions. Sometimes AI will use services and repos in the controller, which is not expected. AI doesn't respect the code consistencies or the way you're writing code. Sometimes they use for loop for iteration, and sometimes use streaming functions. So the consistency is not there. And also AI always do a lot of over designs that give you a lot of logic for like retry or for error handling or different ways of error handlings, which you might not need at the very beginning, or it might not align with what you are doing in the code base. And sometimes AI also generates bugs for complex logic, especially. I have also seen that if you're using ORM, AI would generate the code with 1+n issues for querying dedicate two different layers of objects. So we'll send multiple queries for collecting the second layer one by one. Right, so yeah, just like a new member join your team from another company, he knows how to write code, and he also knows some patterns from the previous company, but it might not matches what your practice in your company. And also, AI never learns at this moment. Every time you start a new conversation with AI, everything you have taught to the AI lost. So, well, you need to ask AI how to do the right thing again and again for each conversation. And people think, okay, AI does very good architecture. But architecture, what is architecture? I think Chris just shared a little bit. Architecture is about trade-off. It's not only about the trade-off for the technology, and also a trade-off in a long-term game, also in a social system. So it's not only about code, it's also about human. Most of the time, when people do architecture decision, people need to understand a lot of context. And most of the context may not in an AI-friendly resource, like a documentation or like a wiki page. If AI, or it may sit in different code bases. If AI don't understand the context for the upstream and downstream systems, how AI can do a good decision. And also, according to Congress laws, domain boundaries usually would align with the team boundaries. Right? So if it comes to team, the office politics will apply here. So AI doesn't know this as well. And also, AI, when you ask AI for suggestions, when it comes to CFR, right, AI will give you a lot of best practices. It could give you, because everyone in industry thinks, okay, active cross-region architecture would be a good approach to keep your availability, then I will suggest it here. But it is only for internal, very small microservice. Right? So it doesn't match sometimes. But when we look at the ADR, AI generated for us, it looks very promising. Right? The structure is there, multiple options, and it also have reason. But similar to other thing or other industry or other areas, when the AI use AI to do some research or give you some information, very hard to validate. Or some of them are even not true, right? So in this case, AI can do something for us, but what we need to do is to take the AI's option as reference. We don't rely on AI to make the decision for us, but the option AI bring to us is also very valuable. Human take the final call to make the decision. Right. And if you're not doing AI right, as a consequence, we will face those problems at last. For example, more and more tech debts in the code base. And most of the tech debts are even hidden. No team member can identify those ones because people don't pay attention to the code review, maybe. And missing quality controls because of the inconsistencies or the bugs, or the AI doesn't realize or breaks your code structures. So the quality ineffectiveness will bring the overall quality lower. And also we lose some control to the code base. People understand less in the code base. People cannot tell, okay, if I changed this line of code, what impact would happen to another module or another system. So finally, the production release or the user experience will be impacted. So how to do developing right with AI? So very big important thing is the sensible defaults or the best practices in your team is still matters. It's very important still. And we need to anchor those best practices or your code conventions as a prompt into the instructions or cursor rules or this kind of things, and to make sure that AI understand or you provide context to AI on how you do things. And ask for options but not decisions. We talked about that. AI can give you good options. What we need to do is to validate them and think which one might suitable for me. Make some trade-offs here. And break tasks for AI or with AI together. If we break the big chunk of work into smaller pieces, every time AI would give you a better output. But of course, human review is still very important. Never relies on AI to generate the code, and you need to review it. If you only do a prompt and ship a prompt and accept, that's not what we want. And also apply some third-party duplication checkers, for example, SonarQube, to check the duplication rate. Well, sometimes we may need to apply the architecture fitness functions to check if there is any code that breaks the architecture rules. And last, human owns the governance, owns the accountabilities. When human review the AI outcomes, at least the similar standard needs to apply to AI, or sometimes we think it needs to be higher. The standard needs to be higher. Okay. The second pitfall is about velocity. People may think, okay, I'm using AI, I should get 2 times or 3 times faster. Why would that? Because when people first they adopt AI tools, most of them are developers, right? So they can see, the productivity I can have is so big. The AI can generate so many code for me in a very short time of period. A lot of people may assume that the similar amplification can be applied in every stage of software delivery. But software delivery is not only coding. If you don't use AI for every activities in the software delivery lifecycle, how can you amplify the AI productivities? We ask AI to generate code. If we don't provide clear requirements or clear information to AI, sometimes AI would stop to ask, okay, I don't think this is clear. Can I have some clarification? But that's a good case. And in most of the case, the AI just generates code with guess. So it gives you the thing, but finally you think, this is different to what I want. And the review and refactoring efforts is definitely significantly increased. People generate a lot of code, so they need to pay more attention, more effort on this. And also the new one is the communication becomes a bottleneck. The coding is not the bottleneck anymore. It can generate so fast, but to make sure the generation of the code can be smoothly, we need to give clear context requirements, instructions, before we start the code generation. And sometimes the team needs to learn how to use new tools. Let's take this chart as an example. So this is one of the environment. As you can see that there is no significant productivity increase on each stage. And sometimes even getting lower because teams spend more effort to build AI tools or writing standard prompts. We need to learn how to use a new tool. So we can never expect people can master the best practice of using cursor or talk to the LLM immediately. So sometimes we build things on top of AI tools. So no direct improvement that we can expect it. And the last one, so the pure AI agentic development is another story. Right? So we can probably leverage a lot of agents for doing things. So a company only have a boss. They have architect agent, product owner agents, developer agents, but I think that's still too far away. So how to do it right? Understand the why and down, and before we give the job to AI, and have clear understanding about the acceptance criteria, and make clarification before the generation. Spend the time for the clarity will save more time in the code generation. And also define the details like models, API specs, how to handle the errors is in the prompt for the AI. And like the planning mode, use AI for tasking, planning, and not only use AI for typing, just treat it as a reasoning partner, not a monkey, typing monkey. And the structured prompts can accelerate the efficiency of the AI. And also don't over-optimize the delivery metrics. So a lot of teams, because they have high pressures from the management, and the management said, okay, I give you AI tools, you need to give me 50% of the productivity increase. I think that happens. So some team will optimize their metrics and for example, mirror the generated line of code to pretend they're doing very well. But I think that's not the thing we want happen. So we still need to mirror the business values we delivered and not the AI output quantities. And also set the realistic expectation on the velocity because all of those reasons. Okay. The third pitfall is about the wrong path of personal growth. We have identified two different paths. The first one is undertrained with AI. Another one is over-focused on AI. I think for the team that using AI, very easily to fall into these two traps. As what I said in the very beginning, that the best practices or the sensible default still matters. But right now we have, besides of this, we have a lot of new AI capabilities. So it's not the challenge to choose which one we want to grow, but the real challenge is how to balance those two sets of skills and grow them together. So if you over-focus on one side, any one side, there will cause some troubles. So the first one is undertrained with AI. It means the team adopts AI tool very quickly, but never invest how to use them efficiently. Just like I give you cursor license, then you go or you do whatever you want, and just give me better result. Yeah, so in this kind of teams, most of the people would use AI just like typing monkeys for outcome, but not using them like a partner. Doesn't maximize the potential of the AI tools. And the team onboarding doesn't include any AI skills like prompting skills, auto verifications. In the 15 years ago, we spent a lot of effort to teach people how to switch your IDE from Eclipse to IntelliJ, how to use shortcuts, how to use the refactor functionalities. We spent a lot of effort in the past, but now AI comes, it's a new skills. But why don't we spend same effort to teach our team how to use AI better? Another pitfall or trap is over-focused on AI. The developer shifts their growth path from writing better code to provide or writing fluent prompts. This is very easily to be observed from the grads or very junior developers because they are the group that easily fall into the first one, the first trap, over trust to AI because they think AI is doing better than them. This is their new goal to maximize the AI potentials, but they don't pay attention to their own fundamental skill growth, like design, codings, debugs, for example. Yeah, so I think it's very harmful for the people world. We had a question that do we still hiring juniors? Can AI replace juniors? I think if our juniors are all doing things like this, they are the prompt engineers. They are not developers or a qualified engineer. Then in this case, yes, we can remove those juniors with agents. But if the juniors grow equally on the code fundamental skills together with AI prompting skills, I think that's a junior we want to hire, and we want to help them to grow. So in this case, these people is not the people who will be replaced by AI. Right. So in this case, I think we still need to focus engineering masteries. For example, we still need to provide trainings about TDD, provide trainings about clean code, about everything we concerns in the coding skills part. And also, we also need to train the AI skills, not very general trainings, just tell you, this is how LLM works, and this is how you can write better prompts, but train them with the actual use case. For example, how to use AI to do code reviews, how to use AI to do debugs. So that's the training we need to provide. And we need to build the learning into the AI-assisted deliveries. So ask why and how to AI, understand why it chooses this approach, use this as a chance to grow their own coding skills so that they can do a better judgment or validation of the AI outcomes. Build a sharing cultures. If you learn something, or if you're building a very efficient prompts, share with the team. And for juniors especially, we need not only to review their code in the review part. The code is all generated, most generated by AI. We not only review the code, we also need to understand the prompts they use to lead them into this result. And last, we also suggest people to think about the competency requirements in the organizations so that we can have a clear definition about what skills we require. So this is an example in Thoughtworks that we define an AI engineer. So they have two different set of competencies. I'm not going to talk one by one, but the key readings here are, first, the AI specialized competencies are equally important to the software engineering competencies. And the second one is the code review and requirement analysis from the core skills requires more proficiencies in nowadays. Okay, so the last pitfall is the culture class. It's more like a summary about the pitfalls we have shared already. If you are not using AI in the correct way, so people will easily go into a situation that, okay, if I get the result and it's working, yeah, that's good. I can deliver things and get my salary paid, or even get more salary paid. That will become the only expectation. So bad patterns goes faster than good ones. It's just like lies spreading faster than the truth in this case. So if the teams they fall into the pitfalls we just mentioned for longer time, they will become more easy to have their engineering culture corrupted. So I haven't seen this in Thoughtworks team, but from another external sharing, one of the audience raised this to me. So he is the CTO of a small IT company. He have a development team, delivered a very big feature with AI assistant in very short time. The developer team is very proud of that. Yeah, you see, we do things so fast and so good. But the problem happens when they do handover to the ops team. They have operation team. This team have lower tech skills than the dev teams. But when they do the handover, the developers cannot clearly explain the logic in the code. The documentation is not very ops focused. It's not useful for the ops team. The code patterns is not consistent with other modules, so it makes the ops team very frustrated to understand the code. So the handover is failed. They tried multiple approaches to fix this problem. For example, can the developer team do the operation work, but SLA fails. The developer have the deadline for new features, so SL fails. And can they use AI to rewrite everything? Definitely it's another failure. So I realized, okay, these things could happen in real life. So the culture impact comes to my mind. So there are some warning signs for the culture part. If you see this kind of activities or anti-patterns, then you definitely need to pay attention to your engineering culture. For example, people may say, that's what AI said. They just accept without verification. And prompt and ship, and prompt, okay, good, accept. Right. So no reviews, no checks, no discussion of the trade-offs, which is not good. I deliver a lot of code in a short time, in same pull request. I think you may heard about this joke. As a code reviewer, I can give 10 comments for 10 lines of pull request, but I only can give a looks good to me for a 100-line pull request. Right? So the code is too much, so it makes me harder to do the review. The same situation happens here. If the AI generates too much code in the same time, it makes people much more harder to do the review. That's why the tasking is important. And also about the review, people is not review the AI generated code seriously. They still do review, but they say, it's AI code, right? It looks good. Just accept. And the invisible engineering foundations, people are not doing any trainings in the team about how to do better coding. Right? So that's also a warning sign. And architecture by autocomplete. I had to let AI to do the architecture. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And transactional collaboration. People only collaborate with others when there is something happening. They spend more time to working with AI. And another one is about the retro. People wouldn't talk about serious problem because they might don't know what the problem is, or they think, human is not making mistake. Or some teams only use AI to do the retro, just generate some improvement action for me. Also, the shortcuts, people copy the bad behavior or bad shortcuts from others, from other team members. And the more you copy, the more you get harmed. And also not enough attention to the AI. So the team use AI in different ways. Everyone have different ways of using AI. That brings more inconsistencies in your code base. Okay, so to do the culture building right, so basically we need to prompt with purpose and learn. Make sure you have your intent clearly defined, and review the prompts and AI mistakes. The second one, the fundamental skill, we need to pay more attention. We don't want to lose that. If people are doing TDD by themselves, if people are writing clean code, if people can point out, in the AI generated code, I found something. around the best practices. They should be, this practice is celebrated, and also these people needs to be like recognized. And also collaborate others with empathy, and never throw AI thing if you don't understand. And also sometimes we need to slow down to go faster. We need to have certain prompts, for example, to make the code consistency working as expected. For example, use the TDD mode, generates the test before you start the code. Right. And spreading the good patterns, make sure the prompts, examples, templates, and also share with people for those good patterns. And the last one, we need to reward the maintenance transparency, but not only the volume. Right? So we don't need to pay that much attention on how much code we generated, but we need to make sure the code is still maintainable and with a good quality, so the trust can be remained between your team, your ops team, the QA team, or even the customers. Right, that's the sharing for today. Thank you very much.